Okay. Had to take a breather there. A long one. So, I wanted to recap everything that the Most High has showed me. The first revelation, outstanding piece of truth that the Most High gave me was on the 23rd of September, 2017, the night of the great revelation sign. And what he showed me with that was that the woman clothed in the sun was the churches. Think about this. Clothed in the sun. Christianity is wrapped in sun worship, down to the Bible. The name Bible is derived from the goddess Biblios of literature or whatever. And I wouldn't doubt it that the majority of the leather Bibles are probably pigskin. Just a guess. I don't know. Could be wrong. But I was thinking, and this all if you are not on the same page with me, I'm asking you, please take a second to understand what I'm talking about, because this is vital. I showed you when I did the word search in my Bible app for MEEK. You see throughout the Bible there's tons of scripture where the Most High says only the meek will be saved, only the meek shall inherit. If you're someone that judges, that is quick to jump to conclusions, that won't listen to something someone's saying because of anything, if you don't give them a second, the benefit of the doubt, just to have understanding, to be a little understanding that maybe, the reason this happened, this guy did, or this woman done this before, could have been the cause of something that you don't know about, whatever. Give someone a break, whatever it is. Don't take your information, don't get your information from people just because they have a large following, or they're good looking, or they're rich, or they got a church, or whatever. Because I can guarantee you that the Most High is going to use someone, just like he always has, that people will not want to listen to because he's a poor person, or she's poor, or they've been to prison, or they were a drug addict, or anything. It's going to be, the truth is going to come from someone who has been through the fire and has come to the point in their life where they realize they have to depend completely on the Most High, and they depend on him every day. A rich person, that's why the Messiah said it's harder for a rich person to make it into the kingdom than for a camel to go through the eye of the needle. Not a needle you sew with, but a hole in a wall over there by Israel. A little hole they had to make camels go through. That's why he said that, because when you're rich, when you got a lot of money, it's hard to not get a big head, to not become puffed up. You constantly want to feel like you are all that in a bag of chips. It's hard not to do that. It's hard to stay humble when you're famous, or you're well off, or people love you. When you're hated, for the word's sake especially, and you're not rich, and you're not famous, and you're not loved by many, you've only got one place to turn to, and that's Abba Yahuwah. And when that is the case for years and years and years, you begin to realize that that is the only place to turn to. And after going through the trial and error of turning and leaning on your own understanding so many times and hitting a dead end, hitting a wall because of that, and seeing that the only time things work out for you is when you realize that He is the only one to trust, and that your understanding should come from Him and never your own understanding. A rich person more than likely is thinking that he has certain talents or abilities that has caused him to be rich, or that it's like, look what I can do, like Stuart, look what I can do. It's like that. So when it says the meek shall be saved, that there is no other characterization of people included in that, only the meek. And if you're someone who can't listen to somebody that's trying to share truth, look, let's just say, for example, this guy named Tom. The Most High showed Tom a certain revelation that you need to hear. Like Jonah. Say He sent Tom to you to share a piece of truth with you that is going to be key in your salvation. And Tom is a homeless person that lives under a bridge, okay? And he's got dirt all over his face. He's wearing rags. And you're someone that goes to a church and you love this church because the pastor is a young, handsome man, in his 30s, and he's got it going on, and you just can't see how this Tom, who is homeless and he hasn't taken a bath in a month, you can't see how he's going to be anyone that you need to listen to. But the Most High has showed him a very important truth that you need to hear. And if you don't have the meekness to just say, maybe, sorry about that, guys, maybe Tom has a point. Let's hear Tom out here. If you can't, bring yourself down to his level, hold on, folks. So do you see how it's important that you remain humble and meek? Everything that Abba does, it's simple and it's logical. It makes 100% sense. It's common sense. If you're unwilling to be humble, if you're not someone that, you love people, you see yourself as a good person, but you still have that aspect about yourself that you just can't see how this Tom that's homeless would have anything that you need to hear. And I know way too many people that are like that. I don't know hardly any people that would say, listen to Tom here, knowing that everyone's going to laugh at you and think you're insane, that you're taking you're listening to a message given to you by Tom that's homeless, that hasn't taken a shower in a month. Do you understand? That is why it's important, because look, Abba is going to use people like Tom to bring you a message. It's not about him, his status, or yours. It's about the truth that Abba has to give to you. And if you're not humble, you'll miss out. That's why only the meek shall be saved. Because a meek person, a humble person, they won't look at Tom and compare him to anyone else because of the fact that he hasn't showered, or that he's dirty, or he has no money, or that he's living under a bridge, compared to this pastor, Joel Osteen, that has a crowd of 70,000 people every Sunday, and that tells you everything your itching ears want to hear. Do you see? That's why you have to remain humble, and that's what this message is about. So we're looking at the map here of Grand Junction. I just told you that the first piece of revelation that the Most High gave me was on September 23rd, 2017, the night of the great Revelation 12 sign. And I had been, you know that the blood moons, the tetrads was going on around that time. Trump had been in office for a year, a little over a year. The great American Eclipse had happened in August of that year of 2017, and I had heard about the 23rd, the night of the 23rd, that the Revelation 12 sign was to appear. I had been waiting for that night, looking into it. I heard all kinds of people saying this was going to happen, that was going to happen, so I was waiting. But what happened that night, about 2 a.m., the Most High woke me up, made me get up and start reading about that Revelation sign, and he showed me that the woman clothed in the sun was Christianity, was the church, and that basically that the male child is more than just the Messiah. It is the mature believer. It's the mature child of the Most High. Someone who has moved on from milk, and he's not those people that constantly study but never do come to any truth, that they're just stuck because they cannot, they're not humble. They've missed out on all kinds of life-saving truths because they were unable to look past the outside of the cup. So that was the first night. And then back then I never did think about the tribulation starting. I had no idea, nothing about it. I didn't, the Most High hadn't started showing me that up until just recently, like at the end of 2020, and this year, throughout this year, 2021. And I hadn't really had it absolutely confirmed to me until probably the last couple days. And I'm going to show you how that's been confirmed. And I'm asking that you pay attention and listen to me, even though I suck at conveying my message. You probably hear all kinds of noise, interferences on this video, the editing, all that absolutely sucks. But this is where your humility needs to come into play. Don't look at the quality of the video. Don't look at who it's coming from. Listen to the message the Most High is trying to share with you. Right here, the town of Grand Junction. I'm gonna show you what the Most High showed me last night. And it's going to tie everything together, bring everything into focus so you can understand what time for sure we're in, what these signs and symbols are pointing to. See, and that guy right there, he'll keep calling me. I just got off of this here, paused the video and messaged him before and told him I'd call him back. But he don't care. He only cares about himself. He don't care. If I told him what I was doing, he'd probably tell me I was stupid, and he'd probably curse the Most High because he don't care about nothing but getting what he wants. He's the opposite of humble. Anyways, if you didn't see the videos I made about Grand Junction, look, the Most High showed me this town of Grand Junction, and he showed me that, okay, this was where the first case of Delta was found. Let's go look that up so I can prove that to you. Okay. Where in America was the first case of Delta discovered? Oh. Let's see. Calhoun County, this is saying. Now, see, before it said, when this took me there, it said Grand Junction, Colorado. Yeah, I'm going to show you and prove that they're lying now. They've switched it up. They're going to try doing this because they know what I'm doing. There's no reason for them to switch it up like that. Why would they do that? Well, I'm going to show you that I'm not lying right here. Check this out. Let's go down here to it because I saved it right here. New COVID variant found for the first time in Colorado, in Mesa County. A coronavirus variant that was first identified in India has been discovered in Colorado for the first time. Do you see that? Do you see how someone's lying here? Okay. This was the very first article that I was led to. Why? I have no idea, okay? At the time that I was led to this, I didn't know what the Delta meant. I didn't know what the six-pointed star meant, but from this article, I found out that the six-pointed star is two deltas, one up, one down, and it's the combining of two opposite things, male and female. It's the act of sex. A six-pointed star and the Masonic symbol, the square and compass, it's the same thing. It's a male and a woman in the act, okay? Delta means door. It means the combining, the interlacing with something, okay? A door is a connection between one room and the other, right? What does Grand Junction mean? Grand Junction, junction. It's the gate, it's the veil, okay? That's what this is. He took me to this article, and look what it says right here. The word comes as Colorado reached the milestone of having 2 million people fully vaccinated, but also as the state is clearly facing a fourth wave of the pandemic. Hospitalizations are at 666 COVID. Right there. Patients. That was the first thing that caught my attention. I was like, oh, okay, here we go. So I did what I always do. I went and I typed in Grand Junction that is associated with 666 and the six-pointed star in Grand Junction, okay? So the reason I was going to show you that was one day I'm sitting there looking at the map of Grand Junction, right? And hopefully this is Grand Junction here. Yep. This is Grand Junction. I'm sitting here looking at this, right? And there's all kinds of weird stuff in that town. But I zoom out and I notice this right here. If I haven't, I may have showed y'all this before. I noticed that thing right there, okay? So I'm like, what's that? So I start to zoom out like this. Now look at this. What do you start to see right here? What do you see right here? Do you see something? Does that not look like a face with a horn and an eye and an eye and a nose right here, okay? Could be just a coincidence. Maybe, maybe not, okay? But I noticed that a while back. And I noticed this Moab right here, right? So yesterday, when I did my little Bible search for the word MEEK, I found Amos. We'll go back through that so I can show you my the way I took my little journey here. You see all the meek shall inherit the earth, to save all the meek from the earth. And I seen Amos in here. And so I started to read this. Let's read this real quick. Let me just go through this. Thus says Yahuwah, for 3 transgressions of Moab, and for 4 I do not turn back, because he burned the bones of the sovereign of Edom to lime. But I shall send fire upon Moab, and it shall consume the palaces of Kirath, and Moab shall die amid uproar with a cry. And now I'm seeing this Moab, and I wondered before, like, what's the connections with Moab of the Bible and the Moab that's here in America, right? And I was talking about the Delta. You know, he showed me, the Most High showed me that the six-pointed star is part of the tree that was in the garden, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. I told you that the six-pointed star is 2 deltas combined. It's the male and the female. It's darkness and light. It's a junction, a grand junction between good and evil, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And I showed y'all that the triangles, inverted triangles, just like Trump has been showing, I've showed you that he is Apollyon or Abaddon. Just like he's been showing those triangles, he's got one on the side of his building that has 21 bushes. It's made of 21 bushes, 6 on 3 sides. It's aiming down, just like his symbol he does with his hands, the gesture. That symbol was put on concentration camp people in Nazi Germany to identify them, to identify Bible researchers, gypsies, a bunch of different people. And so I'm reading about the MEEK yesterday, and I see this Moab, and I think, you know, and if I encourage you to read this. I don't have enough time. Read through Amos, and you're going to see exactly what he's taught, what he showed me that I've been telling you, the difference between the humble, the meek, and the prideful. If you can't listen to a message and hear someone out, even though you don't think you're prideful, you think you're the most humble person on the face of the earth, if you look at someone who is homeless, or they're ugly, or they're this or they're that, and they're trying to tell you something, and you can't listen to them for any reason, you've jumped to a conclusion. You're expressing pride. You will miss out on the Most High saving you. You'll miss out on it because you will be too prideful to hear a message from someone. You'll miss out because you lacked humility. Do your research. Read this. So anyways, I see Moab. So I go out and I search Moab, and you can see Moab right there. Back, when I was, like months ago, I was looking at this. I saw this, where is it, Mexican hat, right here somewhere. There's a place called the Mexican Hat. Right there, Mexican Hat. And then I saved it. I seen Gateway. I saved this because this little odd thing here. Let me show you. At this Gateway, I noticed this little oddity here. You see that cup right there? What is that? You see that? That's why I dropped a pin there and saved that spot. I have no idea what that is. If you know, tell me. Looks like a driveway, but it don't look like there's a road out there at the end of it, but it sure does look like the Holy Grail cup to me. But anyway, so I was wondering yesterday, why is Moab called, the Origins of Moab is what I went and looked up. Let me get back here to Google. You're going to want to see this. Origin of Moab. Okay. And I seen the reason that it was named Moab was because this guy, the first postmaster, William Pierce, I told you about my uncle Jack Pierce. We've seen the connection with him. My name is William. My middle name is William. Moab right here. This is where I went. Moab City. Seat 1890 of Grand County, southeastern Utah, U.S. It is located on the western flank of the La Salle Mountains alongside the Colorado River, about 110 miles by road from Grand Junction, Colorado. The city was originally founded in mid-1855 as a Mormon mission, but it was abandoned later that year after a conflict with the local Indian peoples. Let's see, somewhere we can find, if we can see it here. Maybe it wasn't this article. I thought I saved it. Maybe it's in this Wikipedia. There's the Moab over in Israel. Okay. I seen this New Kingdom thing. I seen this. I had no idea what that was about. This isn't the article, obviously. How Moab, Utah got its name right here. You're going to see that this guy, William Pierce, named it that. My gosh. They're making it hard on me today here. William Pierce, one of the newly arrived settlers, decided to call the new settlement Moab, or land beyond the Jordan. He called it that because he said it was the far country. That's what Moab was called. And we know about the Moabites. We know about their the god that they worship. We know about how evil it was. We know that the Most High commanded the Israelites to wipe these guys out, right? So when I start looking into Moab, I see that there is a park out there called the Valley of the Gods. And what the significance is, the whole reason I'm trying to show you guys this, is because Moab, what the Most High showed me was that there at one time was a isolation camp in Moab, okay? And I'm pretty sure it was the first one. Isolation center, detention facilities. That's why the Most High took me here and showed me this. That's why he showed me about the triangles. Because that inverted triangle, the triangle that is delta, it's a wink-wink between the elites letting one another know that they're about to stick people in these isolation centers. Look, they've made a national park out of this. An isolation center was established at an abandoned civilian conservation corps camp at Dalton Wells near Moab, Utah, which had been vacant only 15 months. The Dalton Wells camp was used as is with no fence or other improvements. It was used for the Japanese. The first isolation center was located in Moab. See, that's why he took me there, and he showed me Moab. He showed me that he's talking about Moab, America, in Amos. He's not talking about near Jerusalem. He's talking about here in America. The first isolation camp, relocation camp, was set up here in Moab, where they held Japanese people during World War II. And they didn't give them a court date or nothing. They held them indefinitely, and they treated them with brutality. That's what this is all about.